Great. So good morning once again, and I'm going to start sharing my screen. And as I said, what we'll do today, we'll start with our last P today, which is promotion or communication or integrated. The right word is integrated marketing communication. So you have the product. So what we've done is we've understood what marketing is. We understood the evolution of marketing. We went ahead, understood macro, micro environment, segmentation, targeting, positioning. We tried understanding the consumer needs by understanding perception, attitudes, learning, memory, etc. And then we went ahead and we said, hey, maybe we are now ready to start with our product. And we tried understanding the product, the different levels of the product. We went ahead and then we understood the product life cycle, product mix, and diffusion of innovation. We then went to the pricing, where we understood that pricing is communicating value. We discussed the pyramid of pricing. We discussed the 3 C's of pricing and then the different permutation combination, which give rise to various kinds of pricing. Then we went to place, which is nothing but distribution, which is the delivery of the value. Because if distribution is not there, there is no delivery of the value. So there is no revenue. And we discussed with various examples of India of how a large country like India, in spite of its huge numbers in terms of whether population or anything else, we have done a great job in terms of distribution. And we discussed examples like ITC Chopal, Mumbai Dabbawalas, and various others. We discussed logistics management, which included warehousing, inventory, and transportation. And now finally, but how does a customer come to know about all this? How does he or she come to know that there is this product, brand, or service which can fulfill his need, his or her need? Well, that's where the 4th P of promotion comes in. But promotion is not the right word. It's just most probably to sync with product, price, just like place is not the right word. We use distribution. This is integrated marketing communication, or IMC. Why do we say integrated marketing communication? Because all your platforms should speak the same language. You cannot have one platform communicating some other value and another platform communicating some other value. They should all be in sync. And when I say all platforms, you must be wondering, what all platforms? Well, in the times of today, you just see what are the different ways in which we can communicate with the consumer. And my God, there are so many ways. Yes, the traditional ones, so maybe the TVs or radios or magazines and journals and newspapers, internet, right? Those billboards, and not just these platforms. That salesperson, he is also communicating a value. He's representing the company, and therefore, so when I form an impression about a particular company, if I form an impression about Airtel or Jio or Vi or some other company, I don't care who the chairman is. I don't care whether he's who's who or he's nobody's who. I form an impression when I interact with their phone executive, when their sales executive, and they communicate a value to me, right? So the public relations, when I read something about them, so there are so many ways in which we are communicating with our consumers, and all platforms should speak the same value. And that is why we say integrated marketing communication. But before that, what is communication? Well, obviously, there's a sender and there's a receiver, and in between, there are various channels. We all know that. But you know what? Still, I mean, it's not always that the message that we need to send reaches the receiver. I mean, forget about business. Even in real life, sometimes what happens is the message I want to communicate to someone else, by the time it reaches that person, we find, hey, he or she has taken an absolutely different view. And that's because we need to understand that the message is not just going very simply to the receiver. There may be a lot of noise in between. Now, what do I mean by noise? Not some kind of band baja barat type noise. It is like there may be distractions. It may be that he or she, his or her perception is already dominated by some other thing which he or she has heard or read. Noise is anything which forms a barrier in helping the communication reach the consumer. It can be what people say. It can be just that you do not get the information at the right time. That's also the noise. So I may receive the information after the last date is over and it's pretty useless to me. So as a marketing person, it becomes so important for us to ensure that there's not just communication, but we can minimize the noise so that the right message reaches our receiver through all platforms. Now, I keep saying all platforms, all platforms, all platforms. What are those different platforms? Well, as I said, integrated marketing communication is advertisements, is sales promotion, is personal selling, it's direct marketing, and it's public relations. Any platform through which the consumer makes an impression, makes an image about us. And all these platforms should speak the same language. You cannot say something else in your advertisements and your salespeople have some other message to give. No, they should all be talking the same language, right? So what are we going to do? We are going to understand these different platforms. And we are going to start with advertisements. Today, I'm just going to introduce advertisements in a very, very small way. And also remember, you are here not to become the ad creator, but you are being groomed as managers who will be interacting with the ad agencies, and therefore you should be able to communicate to them what you want. And also be able, because if you don't communicate the right message to the ad agency, then don't blame them if they don't create the right ad for you, right? But all that in detail, maybe tomorrow. Today, as I said, we will touch the first thing. And just like marketing has, I hope I have that slide. Yeah, just like marketing has 4 P's and pricing has 3 C's. Well, when we talk about advertisement has 5 M. Mission, money, which means the budget. What is the message you want to give? Which media you are using? And finally, I mean, we are not spending money just because we want to create an ad that will get us the first prize in some competition. We are creating an ad so that it has the right impact on the consumer and therefore the measurement. Please understand, any process is useless if you cannot define the result, if you cannot quantify the results. You just can't say, I will make the best ad. Hello, excuse me, will it increase the revenue? Will it increase my consumer base? And if it is not, then keep your best ad to yourself. Right? So let's understand all this by a real-time example. And I couldn't think of a better example. So today we will try to understand these 5 M's. Then what has hit our country right now, the crisis right now. And we are all talking about COVID and the vaccine. So let me go to the government website, and today what we'll discuss is how the government has taken care or how the government has planned to communicate the advertisements, etc., about the vaccine. And you would be surprised. So let's see this. This is a document created by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and it talks about COVID-19 vaccine communication strategy. So the first thing that we discussed was at the mission, and see how they go ahead. I'll just come to this. Yeah. So look at this. They're talking about the mission, objective objectives of the COVID-19 vaccine communication strategy. If I need to increase the size, let me know. Is the size enough? I mean, can you see what's written over here? Do I need
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
Okay, great. So this, look at this, the objective. It's talking about target audience. So let me go. I'm not going to go through the whole document. I will be sharing it with you on Google Classroom. But yeah, so look at this. They're talking about what are the objective, and it says to support and encourage appropriate uptake of the vaccines by managing and mitigating any potential disappointment expressed by unmet demand for the vaccine or eagerness among people, addressing hesitancy, looking at the crisis. So they have defined the objectives. That why? What are we doing? What are we trying to communicate? So they're not just communicating about the vaccine. They are communicating about the hesitancy that is there in people, that, hey, should I take it? Should I not take it? They're also talking about the eagerness that is there in some people. Hey, when will I get it? When will I get it? They're also talking about the crisis or anything that may come out during the introduction and rollout. So do you see communication? It's not just COVID-19 vaccine is here, please take it. No. You have, because again, please go back when we were discussing about perception, there was something called perceived risk on which I spent some time, because each one of us has a perceived risk. On the other hand, go back to diffusion of innovation, and I spoke about the kind of people who adopt new products, and we saw that we had innovators, we had early majority, early adopters, majority, and so on. We also have innovators. So while innovators are very eager to try this vaccine, the majority and the laggards are also a little hesitant, and they are addressing everyone, because this is not a product which is just for some people. We want everyone to take this. And therefore, they say the strategy seeks to build trust and enable greater confidence in people by employing transparency in communication while also managing any misinformation and rumors. So just see the objectives, the way they have defined, which is nothing but the first M, that what is the mission? The mission is to educate people about it, and educate people, the people who are eager, educate those who are hesitant, and to take care of any misinformation. And then they have further gone ahead, and they said that this will be achieved by using social influence, establishing of national media, so on and so forth. The next M that was there was, well, the first is a mission, the second was money, budget. So I don't know how much the government is spending on it, and this is not really written, but obviously needless to mention, if you are forming any campaign, any advertisement, any communication campaign, there is a budget. Things don't happen for free. There's nothing called free. So yes, there has to be a budget, and you have to spend according to your budget. I may want a certain celebrity to be my spokesperson, but hello, does my budget allow it? So you have to look at those things. The third thing was media. And let me just see. Yes, they are discussing about target audience here. I'm just trying to find media for you. Give me a minute. Yeah. So look at this, what they are saying. They are saying that when it comes to media, we are talking about social media, they are talking about community media, they're talking about mass media, they're talking about outdoor media. Not only that, they're talking about community groups. So media is, I mean, when we say media, it's not just these Twitter, etc., but anyone who can communicate. Through whom are we going to communicate? So they're saying community groups. They're talking about celebrities. They're talking about influencers. They're talking about frontline workers, because that person who goes to these various government hospitals or centers or health centers, there that Anganwadi, a person who tells ke, "Arey bhai, le lo, ye achhi hai," is a big influencer, that frontline worker. Or when the doctor says, "Hey, I have also taken," he's a big influencer. So they're talking, look at the media strategy. So that so we discussed mission, money, and now media. So look at the way they have defined. They have said that we are going to nukkad nataks, local folk songs, drama, dance, which would work so well in the rural India. Yes, they are talking about television, radio, mobile, print, the traditional ones also. On the other hand, they're also talking about Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp. And then they're also talking about all those bus panels and those billboards and so on and so forth. They're saying that, yes, we will have celebrities talking about it, but we will also have our local influencers talking about it. It may be some local leader or a religious leader. I mean, some people just listen to them. It may be that panchayat and so on and so forth. So this becomes your media. And finally, the message. What is the message that we are going to give? So the objective was that we have to remove hesitancy, we have to tackle eager people, we have to dispel any miscommunication. So what is the message? Well, when it comes to message, then this is what they are. 1 minute. Yeah, so they have defined. They're saying when we have to look at vaccine hesitancy, then these are the ways to tackle the vaccine hesitancy, community engagement, or develop articles. On the other hand, when you're talking about vaccine eagerness, they said this is the way to handle vaccine eagerness. Acknowledge, first of all, that there might be a degree of vaccine eagerness, but people will have to wait, just like what's happening right now. So the government has announced that 18 plus can take, but there are very few centers and the quantity of vaccine is still limited. So you have to acknowledge that, refer to the key messages, share, very important, accurate information, and proactively manage any misinformation or fake news. Why? Because these people who are so eager to get, if they do not get the right information, then they will be very angry and they will be very upset, right? So this is the message that has to go out. And how have they done it? So again, let me go back to the website. Let us look at the messages. So look at this one. It says, there is enough of everything every day for everyone. Don't panic, don't rush, don't overstock, right? This is what people, this is not really about the vaccine. This is about the COVID-19, what people are doing, they're hoarding. So they are trying to tell people, let me just see for the vaccine. 1 minute. Okay, there was, I'll go to their website, they had written, yeah, so here it is, and they are talking, see, they are giving information, there are various, this is for the vaccine, they are telling you about the vaccine, they have ads about that also, and they are again, जैसे सभी नागरिकों से यही है अनुरोध, टीका लगवा कर दें कोरोना को हराने में अपना सहयोग, and they are telling you how to go about and do it. Register on covin.gov.in. So what they have mentioned in that document, they're also doing it. They're doing it on their websites. They're doing it with the help of doctors, etc. They're doing it with the influencers. You must have seen some celebrity ads also who are saying that please take the vaccine, because the ultimate aim of, I mean, as I said, the ultimate aim is to handle both eager people, hesitancy, and to ensure yet at the same time that everyone gets vaccination and everyone gets updated information, right? So when I come back to this, and obviously what will be the measurement? The measurement is how many people are getting vaccinated on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly, whatever. So is it resulting? I mean, is it helping all this? Are people going and getting vaccinated, and what is happening, right? So whenever you start with an advertisement campaign, It's extremely important that you first answer these 5 questions. That why are you making this campaign? Why are you coming up with this advertisements? What is the mission? Then how much budget do you have? What is the message that you are going to give, and how are you going to give? Which media, etc., will you use? And finally, at the end of it, how are you going to measure whether you have been successful or not successful? Until you have done this homework about these 5 M's, you should not go ahead, because these need thorough details. I mean, as I said, I have showed you a document which just talks about the communication strategy. It's an 88-page document. I will be sharing it on Google Classroom. But the reason I shared it was to help you understand that this is the homework first, which has to be, look at this, create a pool of editors who will write and share opinion, editorials in national, state, and regional media, ensure real-time, round-the-clock monitoring. So first, that homework has to be done. You don't just wake up and say, chalo, aaj ad banayenge. No. This first requires a lot of work on those 5 M's, which is mission, money, message, media, and measurement. As in, when you get time, please do go through this document to understand that how a communication message is used. They have even written the tools, materials for each type of platform, right? Okay, at this point, let me come back to you and understand. Yeah. Any views, any questions, any concerns, anything? Yep. Are we all clear on this topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. If you're all clear on this topic, then at this point, let me end the topic for today, and then I'll open the house for further discussions. So let me stop it over here.